So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maurya Hanspal. And in this session, we're going to start with the most trendy and the hottest topic that we talk about, the blockchain and the cryptocurrency. In the previous session, we have talked about the different types of markets, right? And like when we talked about the different types of market, we started with the basic of stock market because stock market is something of which the people talk about the most. So that is why we started our discussion on the YT live sessions on stock market. We try to understand we try to understand the fundamental analysis, technical analysis, the valuation, value investing, stock market strategies, what exactly is going on in the market, how to analyze the market in very detail. Then we started our discussion on the commodity market, how to trade commodities, how to buy and sell commodities, what are the different types of commodities being sold or available for trading in the market. Then we also try to touch concepts on the forex market, that is the market in which the currencies are traded. And now we are entering into the phase of the crypto market, the blockchain and the cryptocurrency. So before I begin with this topic, or like before I try talking about some of the intermediate to complex terms in blockchain and the cryptocurrencies, one must understand that there is an ideal difference between the blockchain and cryptocurrencies. People tend to use both these terms interchangeably or synonymously to each other. They think that blockchain and cryptocurrency are one and the same thing. So that is the one stereotype or one bias which people are facing in this crypto market. The second thing that they believe is blockchain is only used for the cryptocurrency. So here I'm talking about the people who know that the cryptocurrency and blockchain are different. But those people think that blockchain is only used for the cryptocurrency purposes. And the third set of people who know that blockchain is useful in some other purposes as well apart from the cryptocurrency. They also know that blockchain is different from cryptocurrency, but they do not exactly know what exactly these are the things, how to use them or how are they implemented. Because because the third category of people, they just know that there is something called blockchain and there is something called like cryptocurrency, and both of them are different. And it is a part of IT or technology or the Web 3.0. So what basically is Web 3.0? I'll be talking about as well. So to remove all these three biases and to come to a common conclusion, we'll try to understand the difference between the blockchain and the cryptocurrency. We would also talk about the different types of the cryptocurrency and the uses of blockchain, and how exactly these things are worked upon. So these things we would try to discuss in the best possible scenario. Done? Right. So we are in the phase of Web 3.0. So what did I say? That we are into the phase of Web 3.0. I'll just write it down. We are into the phase of Web 3.0. Means the third degree of Web. We had the Web 1.0, we had the Web 2.0, and now we had the Web 3.0. So why do we need Web 3.0? And why these new kinds of webs keep on emerging? Obviously, these webs do not come year after year. They take 10 years, 20 years to pass from one generation to another. Now, like before talking about Web 3.0, let's talk about Web 1.0 or Web 1. So Web 1 was something in which there was no interaction in a two-way interaction or personal interaction between the sender and the user. In the form of we can call it as a Google Chrome, like the earlier version of the internet or Google Chrome, or the Internet Explorer, when these kinds of internet or this internet technology was not so active or were not so developed. In these cases, the only option that we used to have, the thing that we want to find out or the thing that we want to search out in the web, just we used to type it and we used to get the result. That's it. We cannot even comment on that. We cannot even ask our queries in the chat box, which nowadays is being inserted automatically in a large number of websites that we go for. It was just a view phase. All the information that we want, we can just view, and apart from that, we cannot do anything. So that was Web 1.0. Then we had the Web 2.0, when we had all these social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp. In these social media websites, apart from being posting things or just being able to view things, we were able to have a live interaction. We could and we could comment as well. So we had a two-way interaction with the person who has posted on something. And even you people might have noticed it as well. Like if we want to browse something, because Wikipedia is the old one and no one goes to Wikipedia like nowadays. We have a large number of sources below the Wikipedia as well, like Investopedia and various other websites. So when you open these websites, a dialog box or a chat box, it automatically opens like beneath it. Like any queries, or like you want to chat with us, or like this is our helpline number, and all these things are available. So that's Web 2.0, which is enabling to you have a direct interaction, maybe not a face-to-face, but at least a two-way interaction in an online mode. Then you had the Web 3.0. What exactly was Web 3.0? It is more advanced, more digitalized. It is using a business intelligence, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. And everything is becoming decentralized. By decentralized, I mean there is no central authority who is managing all these things. And we do not need to take permission from any of the authority to carry out our operations. Everything is going online, be it buying insurance, be it opening the bank account, be it opening FDs or investments. And the classic example of artificial intelligence or machine learning is the cloud computing. New kinds of softwares are coming. The demand for cloud computing is increasing thousands times each day in the IT sector. And even the blockchain and the cryptocurrency is a classic example of this Web 3.0, where all these artificial intelligence or machine learning technology is being used. So that is the Web 3.0, and over improved version over the Web 2.0, and of course far better than Web 1.0. And no one uses Web 1.0 now. Web 2.0 Web like 2.0 is currently going on, and we are facing a transition from the Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. Okay. And we might adopt completely Web 3.0 in the coming 5 to 10 years. And that is the prediction which these IT companies or NASSCOM has made. Okay. So talking about the blockchain and the cryptocurrency. So coming back to the topic of blockchain and cryptocurrency, we call the blockchain as blocks connected by chains, decentralized network, public ledger. What exactly do we mean? Peer-to-peer computing. Blockchain is a decentralized system which is a public ledger and enables peer-to-peer computing. What exactly do we mean by all this? What is a Bitcoin? What is Ethereum? Is there a difference between Ethereum and Ether? Ethereum and Ether, they both are different and people call it same. These are different. So these things we would be trying to analyze in these sessions. Okay. So firstly, like before going anything or before going to the concept of like cryptocurrencies or Bitcoins, let's try to understand what exactly do we mean by a blockchain. Okay. You can see this blockchain, right? It is available on your screens. You can see block 1, 2, and 3. 3 blocks have been attached to each other, right? These 3 blocks have been attached to each other by a link symbol, this sharing link like that we used to share on Facebook, Insta, or WhatsApp. So these blocks have been connected, and that's the ideal meaning of a blockchain. Blocks are being connected with a chain. Simple आपने बोल दिया कि the block has been connected with the chain, but what is the significance and what are these blocks used for? These blocks are used to store your transactions. Cryptocurrency is one transaction which can be stored. But in general, I'm talking about just transactions as for now and not the cryptocurrencies. Let's take a basic example. If I'm paying to the seller, the person who has sold me some goods, I am the buyer and the second person is the seller. I want to buy something. I purchased from the seller, I paid him the money and he got the money, right? I am the buyer, he is the seller. Now this transaction would be stored in block 1. Similarly, if I bought something and I sold it to someone else, I am the buyer and I sold it to the second party. That transaction would be stored in block 2. Again, that second party sold it to third party. So that transaction would be stored in block 3. And similarly, in case of these contracts or seller chain, all these transactions would be stored in different blocks. And we also call them as smart contracts. We call them as smart contracts because no other intermediary is being involved here. We do not need to take like kind of permission to carry out our transactions, and there is no authority to govern us, right? That is why it's called a decentralized system. Blocks mein the transaction is being stored for buying and selling in each of these blocks. अगर सिर्फ एक ही ट्रांजैक्शन है तो ऑब्वियसली यू वोंट हैव अ चेन ऑफ ब्लॉक्स एंड दैट्स कॉमन सेंस. अगर मान लो कि मैं बायर हूँ एंड आई एम अ कंज्यूमर ऑल्सो, so obviously I won't be selling it to a second party, right? In that case, the transaction would be stored only in one block, and that's a decentralized system. And why it's a decentralized system? Because no one is governing, right? And if I'm paying in some other currency, be it the cryptocurrencies, okay, and even the bank is also not involved, because like when we talk about the RBI or the Reserve Bank of India, the central bank authority which we have in India, okay, the currency that it prints, like the notes and all, and the 1 rupee and 2 rupee coins, like which are printed by the Ministry of Finance, right? These people have the legal authority to like supply more money or take the supply, right? So there we have a centralized authority. These people are governing the use of money and all these transactions. But in case of blockchain, no one is the central authority and no one is like matlab, supervising these things. Okay, that's why it's a decentralized system. Now, if the system is being decentralized, there can be also the problem of hacks and all, right? Because earlier the blockchain has been like uh, exposed to the hacking also, right? So hacking is something. See, a large number of people say every time that blockchain is impenetrable and no one can hack it, but still people hack it. Okay, so the more the people hack it, the more the blockchain becomes stronger. As these people who are the sufferers or the victims, they get to know that these are the loopholes in the blockchain and they have to make it strong in that manner. Okay, so in such a manner, they try to improve the blockchains. Okay, so that is something different. But these hacking scenarios, to avoid these hacking scenarios, like what these people are doing, they apply a hash function. Okay, so what exactly is the hash function? The hash function is basically an encrypted message or encrypted function which ensures that these blocks or these transactions are not tampered or not like manipulated by anyone. So how do I show this? So like when someone enters into the first block, obviously like this block, it won't have a previous hash because it's itself is the first block. That is the first transaction. So when someone gets into the first transaction, this hash is created. And now if I sell it to someone, this hash will transfer here. And once this hash is being transferred here, and the previous hash would be the new hash, and the new hash would be created. So one that you need to see that the previous hash must match with the new hash. This hash must match with this one. And if these two are not matching, it means there is some tampering or there is some manipulation in this blockchain network. We need to match these hash functions, and that is important in case of a blockchain. Okay, और अगर ये hash functions match नहीं हो रहे हैं, it means the blockchain has been tampered, and that you need to know and need to understand. तो ये hash function होता है, and that is an encrypted message. They're trying to convert that decrypted message into encrypted message so that no one can hack it. Because obviously, अगर वो passcode बता देंगे तो everyone will get to know that who is the buyer and seller. Even in this blockchain network, you cannot even know the buyer and seller, that who is the buyer and seller here. So that is one thing you need to know. Okay, so you need to verify this. Okay, and that is the basic concept of the blockchain, and that is why it's called decentralized, because there's no supreme authority to govern it, and obviously you do not even know the identity of the buyer and seller through a smart contract. Okay, you do not even know it, because in case of a banking system, you know that who is like depositing money or transferring money, buyer and seller, you know it, and you have all the details. But in blockchain, you do not have. You just have the hash, and hash is a kind of a private key. A private key and public key क्या होती है? Like when you send a mail to someone, your username. Like for example, if my mail ID is maurya@yahoo.com, so that is the public key. Okay, and the private key is my password. So my public key or the username is available to everyone, and everyone can view it. But my private key, that is a password, is not available to everyone, and no one can view it. Right? That is the concept of the public key or the private key. So in case of the blockchain network, your public key is visible, right? And the private key is the password to the wallet. And the public key is not available in the form of your name. Like if my name is Maurya Hanspal, it won't be available by the name of Maurya Hanspal. It would be available by some function. Hash 21161 * like this. Even my name is not available. That is why it's a decentralized system. Okay.